Hi everybody, Giselle Grenier here from artplace.ca. In today's lesson, I'm going to show you how to create interesting backgrounds from some simple things that you have around the house already. You may not, but I'm going to show you some different things. And following this video, there's going to be a whole bunch of random little videos to show individual techniques. And I want to show individual techniques because I found that when I show like 5 or 6 techniques in one video, they kind of get lost and they're not given a specific direction, especially when working on my Book of Background series, which just launched a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to be showing one specific technique, so the videos will be much shorter. So what I have here is a whole bunch of tissue paper. Many times when art journaling or creating artwork is that you're stuck looking at that white piece of paper or that white canvas or that white piece of plywood. It's just that white canvas syndrome. And using tissue is just one way to create a really interesting background with very little effort. So what I have tissue. This is colored tissue from for gift bags, stuffing, napkins. These are one of the best because not only can you use the napkins as a whole, and of course I lost it, you can also cut out, oh there it is, you can cut out little parts of the napkins. These little napkins were found at the dollar store. Okay, not expensive. And although they look really bright, you take these are triple plied, so you take the backing off, and then the backing I'm going to be using in another video where I show you how to create your own stamped tissue. And you can use these. Now you can use them to cover an entire sheet, or you can tear it, which is what I like to do, to create more random pieces. So this is pretty. It's this little flower. And here's another one. And I'm going to open these up just so you can get an idea. Okay, so again, you can use this whole piece, or you can just tear out part of it. I've done a piece of artwork where I actually cut out the flowers and just kind of overlapped everything. You can do that. I believe that's one of the Book of Background videos as well. And then a coffee one. I love these types of looks and themes for anything. Okay, this is really pretty. And this would work really well with the stencil I have from DecoArt, which has a similar wording. And this one's a bit animated for me. It's based on typography. It's really bright for me, but it's something that I can use as well. Here's another piece of gift bag stuffing. It's got the letters, I think it's A2 stamped on it. Mega easy to do. And then a couple of years ago I did a video on how to create your own stamped tissue. This is banana paper. I'm just using a music stamp, and I just stamped, and easy peasy. This one here, I believe I did a few weeks ago, and this is a type of paper. This is not rice paper. I think this is, fiber paper. It's not fiber paper. And I put a stencil and I just sprayed it. This was the runoff from it. Love this one. Black tissue with stamps with acrylic paint. I'm going to be doing videos on that. And then what you can do is if you're not going to sit down and do a whole bunch of things, this is just stamped, have a piece of tissue or rice paper or something set aside. And as you do your stamping, instead of wiping off your stamp right away, when you do your stamping, just stamp off on a piece of tissue paper. You'll get over quite a few uses. You'll get a variety of different impressions, and then you can use it as is or cut it out and do something else with it. This was from a jelly plate. I made my own gelatin printing plate as an experiment, and this is a print from it. Love the grunge look to it. And here's another piece done on rice paper. So I'm going to put those aside because those are going to be for other videos. And if you're a Tim Holtz fan or you buy Ranger products, you know what this is already. This is the Ideology tissue wrap from the Tim Holtz line, and it's in a roll. And this is an entire piece. So from when it goes down to here, you probably can't see it, it just repeats the pattern that's here down. And what I did, I just tore off a piece, but I cut it down this way because I wanted the whole strip of music. And with this here, just to show you what you can do, so just plain white stock, and you can get a whole bunch of different backgrounds. See, they're all different. And that's the neat thing about it. Depending how you use the tissue, is that they can always look different. They don't have to look the same. Now for me, anytime I can recognize the Tim Holtz line, especially with the tissue. I can recognize it, so it's nice when you mix and match stuff so it's uniquely your own. And with this, I can turn around, and I like to tear. I don't particularly like to cut, I like to tear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear, and where it gets really interesting is when you're tearing across the grain. The grain is running this way, so it's fighting me going this way. And I'm going to keep the butterflies. Now watch how easy this one tears, because the grain is running that way. So I've got that, and I'm going to, oh, I wanted to keep that word travel though. Oh well. And I'm going to tear that because I want to use that for a border. So just tear, tear, tear. And I'm going to tear this one. I'll just go right like this. Okay, so just tear, and you'll repeat this. This is especially if you're using manufactured tissue. I am so flippin' excited to get to the videos where I show you how to make your own tissue. When I create art, and especially when I teach art, whether it's online or in person, to me it's all about the person's individuality. I don't want people creating art and saying, oh, you used this person's paper or this person's paint or that. Just use what you have. It's all about you, not about whose material you used. Not knocking, branded stuff. Like Tim Holtz is beautiful, but it gets to a point where it all looks the same. So I got that. So I've got a bunch of little pieces here. And I'm going to grab some paper, and I'll show you how I work this, and then I'll show you a really, really fun technique when you don't even have paper to work on. We're just going to use a magazine spread. So the first piece that I'm going to do is on Stonehenge paper. Very thick. This is what I use for doing a lot of drawing because it's made of cotton, not wood fibers. And I'm going to be using the Americana Decoupage, the napkin medium. So when I'm creating a tissued background, not as a focal feature, this is just in the background. You could be tempted to just use a big piece and it's over and done with, but then, that's up to you. I mean, this actually works out quite nicely. Like that. Works out quite nicely, especially if you paint the background and that, but it's nice, but kind of boring. So I can turn around, and I like to assemble stuff thinking, okay, what can I do that's going to be really, really, really interesting? I've got a torn edge here, so unfortunately I'm going to lose that. And I can leave some pieces overlapped. Like these pieces here are all completely covered. And I did these in advance for some other videos just to save some time, but these are all overlapped. That's what creates a lot of the interest. So if I want to keep the dictionary text for memory, then I can just put other pieces around it. So with the word travel memory. Okay, that might work as a prompt. I could just leave it like that. I can continue on. Let's see, I can continue on and just do it like that. So you can actually use your backgrounds as the prompts as well. And the prompt could be, you traveled somewhere, you went to a concert, and your prompt could be a memory of a particular concert or something. So you can use the page itself as the prompt. So I think that's what I'm going to do for this one. Now, when I assembled, I do a dry fit. Thank you, Joe, for teaching me what dry fitting is. When you do a dry fit, 99.9% of the time, I will not remember how I had this laid out, especially if I'm doing a lot. Use your smartphone or a tablet or whatever you have and just take a snapshot. That way you'll see what your layout is. What I'm just going to do is put this way, and there we go. So the napkin finish, the napkin decoupage medium, it just helps when you work with thinner material. The Stonehenge paper is very porous. As you can see, it's not even sticking. So I'm going to use a bit more. Now, if you find that the paper that you're working with is extremely porous, where it's just the medium is just not going, you can use a little bit thicker, or just switch to the actual decoupage, the paper finish. This Tim Holtz paper is really, really strong. I don't even need to use a napkin finish for this. It's really strong. And see, I already forgot. I believe that's on top of that. So this one will be next. And you can see the paper that's underneath here is really starting to build up some nice visual points, which will be used for another piece of artwork. I want to have that word memory and travel appearing. And if your paper wrinkles, who cares? It's not the end of the world. To me, wrinkled paper just shows that was put together by hand and not put together in some factory. And yeah, I'm going to do it this way. I know this is boring, but I just want you to quickly see, whoops, how I put this together. I'm going to try to do as many little videos as I can today where the heat wave is peaking. We're going to hit 30, we're going to hit, I think, 32 today. We're going to hit a record today for heat, and with the humidity it's going to be around 37, 38 Celsius. And tomorrow we're supposed to hit 40 Celsius. Okay, so note to self when using Stonehenge paper, you need to use the thicker medium. Or just use more of it, which takes a little bit longer to dry. And put this on top. Now when you put your medium on top of your tissue paper, it's also going to act as a resist. So when you put paint on top, paint or a stain or whatever you're going to use, you'll be able to do some wiping off. And I screwed that up. So I'll lift that up. There we go. Hang on, I'm going to cut this a little bit more. I have a ruler for this. I should actually use that. I'm not very good at doing that type of thing. I like to do it by hand, but sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate. All right, so let's go there, 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 there. I know, watching glue dry, how exciting. There we go. And I am going to put a layer over the whole piece. And you can leave it wrinkled, or flatten it out with like these brushes are great because I can actually flatten out the tissue. Decoupage medium from DecoArt is so, when I say so strong, the adhesion is amazing. It's a good thing, but when you get it on your hands, just make sure you wipe your hands right away. Have that, and you could also take old driver's license or an old rewards card, and you can just flatten it out. And the flattening out is useful if you're going to be, let's say, drawing on it and you want a really smooth surface. Otherwise, just leave it as it is. It just picks up a little bit of the excess. And you can let this dry, then you can trim it, or if you want, when this is dry, you can wrap it over which will just be another element in the background for this piece. So I'm going to put this aside to dry. Where, I have no idea. And now what I want to do, and this one I'll have to get it started, and then we'll have to come back to it after it's dried. So you don't have paper? Well, what about using lined paper? Get that out of the way. And to use lined paper, all I do is I'm going to use some gesso. And yes, I just put my medium brush into the gesso. And I'm going to be gessoing the back side, and what it's going to do is make it a little bit stronger. And I left this open. The gesso is actually hardened up a little bit. I'm not going to dip my brush in water because that's going to make the paper really curl. So the gesso is actually going to make this paper not like cardboard, but it will make it stronger. If you have the time, it's better to do many thin, even layers and not the thick layer that I'm doing. And that's just more for the drying time, but because of how hot it is, I've got the AC running in the other room, so hopefully it's not going to be picked up by the microphone. It won't take long to dry. I'm going to go right over the holes because I think I may want to actually use the holes as part of the element in the page. Okay, that's it. I'm going to put my brush in water. And now I'm going to set this aside to dry. Again, where, I have no idea. Oh, on top of my Lysol bottle. There we go. And the last one, won't need the gesso. I'll come back to the other one when it's dry. And then this one here, so the LCBO comes out with these amazing magazines every single month. And this one here was a bonus one, the Ultimate Beer and Cider Guide. We took two. We took 2 copies. And I am a huge fan of craft beer. Not crap beer, craft beer. So I thought, oh, I would love to use some of these elements. Love that beer. So I just want to find something that I might like work with. And you can also take your paper and you can see how beautifully transparent it is. And look at the text behind. I mean, that is amazing. Use all that text. And this is nice because I like all the elements in here. Not only that, but can you imagine using napkin text. I mean, you don't have to buy the stuff. It's not cheap. So let's pull out. I love stuff with typography. Ooh. Okay, like in this one. Haven't had any of these. Some more black records. This might be a nice one for the one we just did about the memory, the distillery. I'm planning on going on a wine tour. This one. No, this one. Love that one. Okay, put that aside. This is pretty thick as it is, so you don't even need to put gesso on it. And what's nice is that it's already, I folded it, so I could use it as a spread this way, where this is just background elements, not a focal point. Because then when I put the tissue on top, you can see that it just adds some diffusion. If you want your background to really show through, then you can use it. You can use it this way. I'm going to use it this way. So with all these pieces, this is pretty dark. But you can see you can't really even see anything. But if I want to have that cheese, the cheese showing, I can do it just like that. And then have some text like that. It can overlap. I mean, how simple is that? So you can do this with your page as well. So I'll do that. but I want to tear. Oh, let me show you that ruler. It's from Westcott, and it's got the torn edges. And I can never, ever, ever. Oh, and of course it's going to work now. I mean, it gives you still a straight edge, but it's a bit more distressed and torn. So now I'm going to overlap all this stuff all over the place. I'm going to switch to the paper medium. And I really have to get to the store today to get little containers. I hate using the lid. I'm just going to use the same old grungy brush, and uh-oh, I should have been prepared. Wax paper, that'll just prevent the page from sticking, or if you want to make it stronger, you can stick the two together. And I'm just going to apply the medium. You can use matte medium for this as well. And this paper is a bit glossy, so it'll take this really well. This is where now, if I tore everything, I can really overlap. I'm going to have that right there. Upside down butterfly right there, and this will wrinkle. Oh, Mia's awake. Mia's awake. Uh-oh. When Mia wakes up suddenly from a snooze, it usually means she's going to go barky barky. There. And you can see that I didn't even match everything back up again. And if you're going to be repositioning this stuff, if you use enough medium, you'll be able to lift off this paper. Some tissue though is so thin that you actually might run risk of tearing it. So dry fitting, taking a picture, that way you'll remember where it goes. Oh. Upside down. Oops, that has a straight edge on it. Oh, I've got this thing about straight edges. I don't know why. And I've got this travel. Oh, I'll put it right over the cheese. And I'm just going to overlap and overlap and overlap and overlap. And when it's dry, you'll be able to see the elements underneath. That's the beauty of using tissue. And I find that really strong, so I'll just put the last piece right there. I'm actually short a piece. This has a really straight edge though. And I really shouldn't be bothered with the straight edges, because depending on what's going to go on top of here, if it's going to be a drawing or a painting or some other type of thing, it may not even show. But you can see just by using a magazine spread, you can get yourself a nice sturdy background. And I've got this old, oh no, that's too small. That's too small. That's what I got here. I have no idea what this will do. I want to keep it unified. Oh, okay. I'll cheat. It's not about the background, it's about what's underneath. Sorry, what's going to go on top. And I'm using a lot of medium because I really want this to make this strong. And oops, I made a mistake. I have a piece of tissue with a straight edge. What do? Oh, you panic. Oh no. Oh no. Cover that. When I'm done doing this page, it's very unlikely that you can even be able to make out what's underneath. There we go. So put that aside to dry. And this one here is almost dry. This one I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until this is dry before I show you how to use the tissue on the back side. I'll be using the Tim Holtz stuff just so you can get an idea of different things. So we covered off tissuing Stonehenge paper. And look at that beautiful glow behind. Stonehenge paper. We'll be finishing the binder paper and a magazine spread. And then this is just done on mixed media paper. I just folded these pieces back so you can see instant backgrounds. And in another video, the next one after this, I'm going to show you what you can do when you actually gesso over this, what it can do for you. So I'm going to let the binder paper dry, and I'll come back. Oh, it may take maybe another 10 minutes or so. So I'm putting the medium on the back. And I've got a piece of wax paper underneath so it doesn't stick. I'm going to do this quite quickly. Putting a good amount on there. Just to give me a little bit of extra working time. And I just tore a whole bunch of stuff, and I tore it against the grain, and I'm just going to put it down. I'm going to not even look at the pieces, what they are. I'm just going to, the only thing I'm looking at is the ones with the straight edges. They're going to go on the side to minimize waste. And not only will this help stiffen up the page, because I'm going to be doing so much overlapping, the pieces are going to be overlapped a lot, so there'll be quite an interest, and it'll be for a really nice background. And just overlapping, double butterflies, moths. Another straight edge. Just randomly tore all these. Hope I have enough. Oops, straight edge. Not going to worry about it. That was the exercise. Purpose of this experiment was just put it down. Don't worry about it. And as this collage medium is drying really fast because of the heat, so I just keep putting it on and putting it on and putting it on, and this page is going to be nice and thick. It won't be as thick as 300-pound watercolor paper, but it'll be able to hold some light embellishments. I'm going to put the text. Oh, I got half the butterfly wing. I'm going to put that like that. Oh, another straight edge. Oh well. Where are we missing some paper? Okay, I'm using the entire piece that I tore. And it gets to the point where as you keep overlapping, you really can't tell what it is. And that's the beauty of it. I like the lines showing up on some of the areas, and I don't think I want to use this now, because actually I can use it here because you really can't tell what this is because the butterflies are so thick, so I'll just use it here. I wanted to use the whole piece. There we go. So you can see that the lines are showing through on some of these pieces. Smart. I'm trying to work fast because there's nothing more boring than seeing glue dry. in the same respect, somebody who's never done this before at least will get an idea of what they're getting into. Okay, I will put that aside. And I'm going to set this aside to dry. And I want to show you another one. So this particular one here, okay, nothing unique. We just did this, right? Well, what this one is actually mounted, it's decoupaged onto a piece of canvas, raw canvas. Hang on, I gotta clean this bottle. Raw canvas. And what I used, turn around, what I used is I used the decoupage fabric medium. And what this allowed me to do, sorry, I just got to clean this because it's going to get all gungy. What it allowed me to do was to collage the tissue onto the fabric medium, which is a different formula. It does take a little bit longer to dry, but ideally the fabric medium allows you to collage fabric on top of fabric, and it still remains flexible. So this is really nice. Now this is on its second day of drying. It's a little bit tacky, and you may be saying, well, if you don't like manufactured paper, like, why did you use it? This is from my bullet journal cover. This is the inside. On the outside, I'm actually going to be using my own handmade pattern tissue paper. Well, handmade to the point where I'm taking the tissue, which is made at a company, using stamps and stencils, which was made by a company, creating my own pattern. But this one here, when it's done, I'll be actually just cutting this edge, because I'm going to be putting a wrap border around this for the edges. This is my bullet journal. So there's a bunch of different things that you can use, but the fabric medium, it allows this to be really flexible. No cracking, no nothing. Really, really flexible. So I'll bring this back. So there you go. So you've got a few different ways of using just tissue. This is the manufactured tissue on binder paper. This is Stonehenge paper. You can use watercolor paper, whatever, mixed media paper, using a magazine spread, which is drying, and even on canvas. So it creates a really fast background, and now you don't have to suffer that white paper or white canvas syndrome where you kind of go, oh, what am I gonna do? All right, so there's some ideas, and in the next video, I'm going to start off with using papers, the tissues, and different things that you can do with it, with using gesso and paint, the certain order and layering. So there's going to be I think there's like 5 or 6 smaller videos showing the individual techniques. So create a whole bunch of backgrounds like this so you have something ready when it comes time to applying color. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and if you'd like to see more of these free tutorials, hit the like and comment. I'd love to hear what people think, different ideas, different suggestions. If you're stuck on something, let me know. That way I can create a video to help you out. And I would love it if you would share the backgrounds that you create. You can either email it to me or share it in our private Facebook group. The link is on my website at artplace.ca. And you can go in there, and then you can share your graphics or your images, and we like to kind of feed off each other's ideas to create something new. So I'd love to see that. All right, I'm off to the next video. Gonna grab some water and gonna stand in front of the AC for a few minutes. And until then, stay inspired.